Hey everybody, welcome into Urban Meyer's Pint House. It's a Thursday night. That means it is time for weekend kickoff. It's brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. That's Cardale Jones, Zach Boren, Justin Zwick. Who's this guy? He's back.
Know.
Evan Spencer. I am Hawkmoth from the Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. Well, nobody else is going to dress
or
up
their
this year?
little kid with the
I didn't have anything to wear. I thought about it.
Oh, wow. Well, I already trick-or-treated tonight, and now I get to have some adult fun, and I can't wait. I'm glad that you guys are here. It turns out
I've got 2 costumes tomorrow. I couldn't pull a third one out tonight.
no.
that's big day
That's too
tomorrow.
many. Three's
You
too
got
many.
what?
No, I got
Big
one
day.
for
You have
work and
one.
one for a Halloween party
Correct.
tomorrow
You got
night.
Oh, holla.
one, and then the second one is a surprise. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I saw you in that something else. And
No,
it's-
I think you came dressed
What are you going with?
as Coach Mick tonight.
That's what I did do, yeah. You know what I am
that's
tomorrow?
way
Hey,
too
You know
new
what
of
I
a
am
crew
tomorrow
now.
at work? You're going to love this. Guess what I am tomorrow? Mr. Clean. I'm going to go all white, bald head, Mr. Clean.
Wax that bad boy up and get him extra shiny.
It suits you.
Thank you.
Well, happy Halloween to everybody. What do we think? Trick or treat for Ohio State on Saturday night? Turns out somebody should tell James Franklin it's Ohio State and Penn State at 7:30 on Saturday night in the Horseshoe.
I don't know what he's
big-
thinking. I think
the big
he's
house.
looking. I think he's looking down. I mean, he's looking over out west, looking at that USC job, or maybe he's looking down south at that LSU job and opportunities. I think that's why this team is kind of the last couple of weeks.
an opportunity
Oh,
out
hell.
of the Big Ten. I can see that.
Yeah, he don't want to keep getting smacked by those Buckeyes year in and year out.
he knows
So he
what
wants to
hurdle
go to
he's
the
gotta
SEC
get
and
over
get smacked by those guys
That's
every
what I'm
week.
saying. That's a good point. Yeah,
he want a different
West
smacking.
is
I
a
don't
much
know.
better option.
Yeah, out west. Yeah.
ESPN Plus is your big movie.
I don't know what he
Yeah.
is. He's such a weird character because he's done this before, right? I mean, every time, well, not every time, but other Ohio State weeks, he acts like he doesn't know what's going on, or he drops Illinois. I'm focused on Illinois. He just got beat by Illinois in 9 overtimes.
Yeah.
2 days ago, guy.
Yeah, he
And
was
they ran that thing down your throat.
Yeah.
a week too late to focus on Illinois.
Yes, and then the big house. I mean, it's just like I think he does it for show. I don't know why he does it, but I don't know if it tries to keep his guys light throughout the week. Like it's just another game like Coop used to do here, which we realize doesn't work. But he's just I'm ready for him to leave. I hope he does go.
Yeah. But if you're going to treat it like any other game, you should at least get the opponent right, because all that does is you guys have been in those locker rooms.
Don't add fuel to the fire.
You make one mistake like that, it's going up on the board.
Well, I think there's a couple things going on with James Franklin and Penn State right now, and it's probably one of the reasons why his presser the way it was earlier this week. And we all know we've been a part, and you haven't, but 2011, Zwick, I'm sure you were. We've been a part of a team where you start losing the locker room. The coach knows, right? When you start losing the locker room, it's bad stuff, right? You feel it walking into the facility. You feel it in practice. You feel it in the locker room where guys are normally playing music and hanging out. A head coach, normally his office is right off the main locker room. He knows when he's starting to lose the locker room and you're starting to lose that confidence. After they got beat by Iowa, especially being up 17-7 and Clifford getting hurt, you take a punch to the gut a little bit, right? Then you go on, you're like, hey, we can still salvage our season. We're fine. With our ranking as well, we keep on winning. We're going to take care of business. You lose against Illinois the way that they did and the way their offense is reeling and everything else, guess what? That locker room is almost officially lost. Like that, they are going downhill quick. And then the worst thing is, obviously, come on, we know James Franklin is in the rumors, especially USC. He wants to get out west to that job. His name has always been tied to that job. So from losing the locker room, and obviously his mind's reeling from that, to his agent obviously talking to him about
a new agent,
right? Talking to him about stuff out at USC. He's just not with it, right? And so I'm not giving the guy an excuse, but it's just a matter of fact, right? You can say he's a phony, he's an idiot, he's whatever. It's the dude is trying to save his locker room, but also at the same time try and secure another job while also probably trying to recruit. You know what I'm saying? He's got the number 1 recruiting class in next year's class at Penn State. The dude's across the board, and yeah, I mean, he needs a reset.
Yeah, but to do all that stuff, recruiting class, get the big job, don't you think you'd want people to think you had your stuff together?
Right.
Like who you knew who you were playing, or maybe, hey, we're going to really rally and play tough against Ohio State this weekend.
What I'm saying.
And that way I can show that I rally my team.
Pack on those good performances.
Yes, but it just seems like he just thinks something else is going on.
It's more so. I think it's more of the USC thing and a buzz around that, other than because you watch the 2 games that they lost. I mean, yeah, the 17-7 letting Iowa come back and kind of put it on them a little bit.
Yeah, that was the quarterback getting hurt.
Exactly.
I mean, if Clifford stays in that game, they win that game, in my opinion.
Potentially win that game. But like I said, in the game versus Illinois, I don't look at that game as like, oh, the coaches lost this game. Players were in position for success.
That's what
so I don't think it's more so of losing games now. Like, what do we do as our coach's fault? Because we can go point at individual performances and a few players in situations where that guy on Penn State did not rise to that occasion to make that play or make that stop versus, oh my God, we wasn't in the right position. They just out-coached it.
I'll tell you this much. There is no coaching when Illinois lines up in 9 offensive linemen, quarterback, and tailback. Guess what? There is no coaching. At that point, guess what? I've seen still pictures. Penn State's got 5 down linemen, 3 linebackers, corners, and safety playing behind them. Guess what? It is nut up time and let's play. That's exactly.
You can't coach that. It's this.
That's not coaching.
What you're gonna do is the guy coming right at you. So I think of the lack their frustration for the team is more so of the rumors that their leader is entertaining other opportunities. I think when the rumors came out about USC and other jobs that potentially may be open in his name, he should have did what Luke Fickell did. He crushed them as soon as it happened.
Right.
Our focus is on now, and our focus is on next week.
And even if it comes up down the road, let it come up. But kill it now. Make sure that your guys are right. And at the end of you're looking at a team like they got good scheme. At the end of the day, they have players, and they're not really making the plays that need to be made. Now, that always comes back on the head coach, but he's still putting his chess pieces where they need to be. Now, they're not getting W's, and at the end of the day, that's the record you have to take to a USC to go say, hey, I'm the guy to go do this thing in the first place. So, it's a balancing act. But, I wouldn't want to be a head coach because then to think of recruiting on top of all that makes my head want to explode.
Yeah. You guys know that I could stand here and bash James Franklin all night. I'd love to.
You love that guy.
I think that would be a great show, but people probably want to hear us talk about the Buckeyes a little bit. Things are certainly trending in the right direction for this team. What is the biggest difference that you guys have seen over these last 4 or 5 weeks? I know some people want to put a grain of salt on the opponent, but it's pretty clear the progress that's out there.
Listen, there is nothing talking bad about the opponent. That Indiana team that Ohio State played last week is the same Indiana team that very easily should have
beat them last year.
Should have beat Cincinnati early in the year. Let's be honest. Should have beat Cincinnati. We talked about it last week. And also, that was the same team the week before last played Michigan State to 20-15, and everyone thinks Michigan State are world beaters right now. So if Michigan State's that good, and Indiana only lost them 20-15, was in the entire game, that Indiana team isn't that bad, right? So I don't want to hear anyone about the opponent. It's simple. It's what we've talked about on the show the past couple weeks. The defense is playing the best players. A lot of these young guys are gaining confidence. Tyleik Williams, Cam Martinez, Steele Chambers. Right. We could name a list of guys that are playing now and playing a lot of snaps now at a high level that weren't even really seeing the playing field to start the season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the more games, more snaps they get under their belt, the better they're going to play. And let's be honest, the offense, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like it. I know, Lettermen Row posted an article this past week about Trayvon Henderson starting the year off, and he obviously had a big hype and didn't have that confidence, and now he's got that confidence. Well, now you know what maybe the top running back in the country with confidence, a quarterback who's back there slinging, and an offensive line that's just protecting him. Yeah. You couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, you see the chemistry that came out, at least on the offensive side of the ball, the chemistry that came out of last year and out of camp, 100%. And even in Oregon, right? C.J. Stroud still had a very productive game where 400-plus yards of offense.
Almost 500 yards in that game.
That's
he was
good.
not the reason that they lost the game.
So, I'm saying, when you're looking at the defense, and we got so much talent in so many different areas, but it's deep, it takes time, to your point, to find out who's got to be there, right? Who are we depending on when, communication is tough away or at home or whatever the situation is? And that's what we were able to do, right? We kind of lived by the gun, died by the gun a little bit in the earliest season, but what we've done is being able to think and learn under pressure, right? That's what I see most out of the defense, whether it's secondary or whether it's, the linebackers or even the D-line. It's hey, your number's now called. Do your job. And we need you to go get the guy on the ground, get the ball off the quarterback's hand. And time after time, at least since Oregon, we've seen that. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, we just didn't have our warm-up games to do that kind of stuff
right.
against an Akron, where we know we're going to put our third strings in, at the fourth quarter. It was, hey, Big Ten on the road, Thursday night opener. Welcome to the game, CJ Stroud and all you young freshmen and young guys who are just starting for the first time. And then, hey, home at Oregon, boom, top 10 matchup. So they were trying to find themselves. I don't know who we found coming out of the Akron week, but number 7, whoever is wearing that jersey now, I mean, that shoulder is healthy and he's ready to rock, boy. He
supernatural here.
Has not overthrown a ball like we saw in those first 3. I mean,
Cardale went in there and massaged.
It must have been. I was going to ask him if he had anything to do with that, but the way he's playing.
CJ stands for Cardale Jones Stroud.
No, he's doing his thing, man. I guess that week of rest versus Akron really worked, and it allowed not just him, but those guys to get on pace. And like Evan just said, the chemistry is there on both sides of the ball. The guys are flying around. I don't know if it was a change in the play calling for his defensive coordinator or what, but you can tell it's a difference. Yep. And still, it's some situations where definitely Indiana could have exploited the defense a little more, but we just got the playmakers to make up for some of those mishaps. Yeah. And that's what I'm looking forward to going into this weekend and finishing off the season.
Yeah, nothing was perfect out of that game. I mean, there's definitely film to be watched. And, on the back end, those guys will tighten things up. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we get those opportunities for. I mean, what was it? 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second quarter, and the entire first team on defense was out already?
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of good film to learn from.
Yeah, and it's going to be a huge weekend for that. It's also Halloween, and Old Man Winter's right around the corner. Is your furnace ready? Whether it just needs a quick tune-up or you need a whole new system, Federal Elite Heating and Cooling, they are your factory-authorized Bryant Heating and Cooling dealer, and they can bring the heat. Federal Elite is committed to doing whatever it takes to make sure you and your family stay warm and comfortable all winter long. Call and schedule your appointment today or find them online at federalheating.com. Bryant and Federal Elite Heating and Cooling, they're doing whatever it takes, and they are the presenting sponsor of Weekend Kickoff tonight. All right, who's got to do whatever it takes to get a win on Saturday night, Cardale? Who are you looking at that stand out for the Buckeyes in this one?
I think Zach kind of hit on this a little earlier, but I'm going to go with the offensive line. I mean, they have been playing out of their minds the last 3 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks in the run game and protecting CJ. So we talked about the confidence of a quarterback, and we talked about some of the things that he's able to do, and especially downfield, those type of routes, those type of plays take time. And when you got guys up front that you feel comfortable, they're going to protect you, they're going to give you that time, you just sit back there and you just let a guy like Wilson and you got like Olave just run past the defense. You just put it out there. So I'm going to go with the offensive line and continue to play well.
Cardale, Jay-Z, would it be tough to throw over this enormous offensive line? And DeJuan Jones is one of the largest humans that I think I've ever seen. Like that might be just a little bit different.
And I totally agree. And I think what's most impressive with him is not on the football field, is on the basketball court. For him to be that big and can move and do some of the things he can do on the basketball court. But yeah, I mean, Justin can attest to this. We are both, fairly taller guys for the quarterback position, but those are some big guys up front. Yeah. And you look at the guys behind them; they just as big. So
yeah, you almost as a quarterback just got to figure out the lanes, or the arc. I don't know what it is about the position. You just kind of do it so much,
figure it out. Yeah,
figure it out most of the time. Now a lot of times, they'll get a hand up or. You may put one in the back of somebody's head every now and then when they're that big. If you're trying to throw a slant, or something, and they move like
that's why we tell them to chop block on
slants.
Exactly.
Right?
Get down.
That's your own fault. You're standing up.
Yeah, you should be down.
Slant fast, But you got to find a way. I mean, Drew Brees does in the NFL. Or did anyway.
Kyler Murray. That's another one. How are you getting these balls anywhere into these drags that are right now?
Whoa! But that guy's taking a 30-yard drop.
That's the dude is like straight turn back and run.
Probably a true statement.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, mine's going to be obvious, or not obvious, I guess, but I'll go in my own room, the receivers, right? I mean, I don't think that we're going to play a group that's like, Pat Surtain, Alabama, that kind of quality. But at the end of the day, they still are 15th in the nation in terms of pass yards, right? And they've gone up against our guys before. So quick jams, just a lot of annoying stuff to get to get our guys off of their just chemistry, their vibe. I mean, we're playing so good as an offense, and especially in the receiver room. So I think that's going to be what I watch, is just how we take a new, unique step against a group of guys that we probably played against already.
Yeah, I haven't done this yet this year, but I'm going to do it for this game.
Boy, ready.
I'm taking 2 guys. I did it all the time last year.
I'm taking 2. I do remember this.
I'm taking 2. I haven't taken 2 yet this year.
You saved it up.
You guys talked about the offense. We all know the offense clicking. Running game, passing game, offense line, everyone's clicking. None of those guys need to step up and do it all, right? That team is working as a unit. There's two guys on defense. Number one is Steel Chambers. Dude needs to play all game long. He makes Cody Simon a better linebacker playing right next to him. He makes the defensive lineman better up front. Just his closing speed, side to side, being able to play inside the tackles as well. He is the most complete linebacker we have right now, and I think next to him needs to be Cody Simon because they work so well together. The next person, I can't believe none of you guys talked about this, Denzel Burke.
No, I was gonna say.
Denzel Burke, because guess what? If I am Ohio State's coaching staff, I've already texted some of them this week. If I am the coaching staff,
Was that a
Denzel, no.
It's just an insider.
It's just an insider thing.
Insider.
Hey, listen, Denzel Burke, if I'm coaching him, Denzel, wherever that Dotson guy is, guess
You
what?
own him.
You're following him
Holla.
all game long. I don't care if he's on the sidelines. Go stand next to him on the sidelines. That's what you are in his face all game long. Guess what? After the text, the only thing I got were exclamation points. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that might be a glorified yes right there.
Did you pay any attention to what I wrote or the press conference with Denzel? You may not. You caught up earlier in the week, but Denzel Burke talking after practice on Wednesday night.
I saw it. He's an okay receiver, but nothing I can't handle.
Nothing I can't handle.
Hey, guess what, young man? Dinner served.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Time to eat.
I like to until the last couple of weeks, I was comparing that mindset that he had to one of your teammates, Bradley Roby. But he's not like Bradley, and that a lot of what he was doing was like confident, cocky stuff on the field. Like Denzel Burke is just saying like, yeah, I expect this. Like,
Bradley
I want-
Roby's a bad comparison. I'll give you a better one. Christian Bryant.
Oh, Jesus.
He is Christian Bryant to a T. Christian Bryant was a silent assassin. He was a guy, no matter where you were, it didn't matter if you were at the bar at midnight or on the field at noon. You wanted that guy right next to you.
Oh, there's
Christian
no doubt
Bryant was that. He was a silent assassin. Not cocky, but guess what? You knew he was there.
How about a combination then of Bradley and Christian Bryant?
Okay.
Wow, that's a player right
Fair
there.
enough.
Making
I mean, he's a hell of a
NCAA
player.
players made up 99s across the board.
Jay-Z, what do you got?
Well, I was going to go with Denzel Burke. I think this Dotson kid for Penn State might be one of the only skilled position players they have that could probably be on our team and maybe break the rotation.
Yeah, he might be the fourth receiver for this team.
And, for a quarterback that's hurt, not playing well, offense hasn't been that great for him to be that weapon downfield. I mean, 50-50 ball, you can throw those up, a couple of those up every quarter if you want to.
Yeah,
and
go
you
ahead.
got a receiver that can go make a play. If Denzel Burke's able to, man him up, if they want to go with man and just have him follow him around like Zach was talking about, great.
Which I think they should.
One way
That's
or
what
another,
you
they
should.
got to know where that guy is on every play because I think that's the one special player they have. And I think they're going to try and get him involved in this game as much as possible. So that secondary is going to be huge, watching him and keeping him under control.
Tightening those windows is going to be big, man. I mean, whoever the quarterback is, you guys know better than anybody else.
Wow.
Throwing into crap, having to throw them open for 4 hours is
it's not fun.
Is not fun.
No.
Another guy I expect to finally get a heavy workload this week, Travion Henderson. Some of it's not been his fault with the injuries and coming out of a game. He should have had double-digit carries last week, but he left that first drive and was trying to fight to get his helmet back. This will be the time, I think, where Ohio State – I think back to that game 2 years ago where everyone was raving about Penn State's rush defense. Well, what did Ryan Day do? Came out and ran it 9 straight times on the opening drive for a touchdown. I think Travion will get it early. I think he'll get it a lot. I think they'll have watched Illinois.
Well, yeah, you watched
Run
that
it
game.
down
I
there.
mean,
Why not?
370-some yards of rushing.
Listen, you can win the game. You can end the game, the fourth quarter, regulation, with 35 yards passing and still be in the game. Keep doing what you're doing.
Right? I mean,
Keep doing what you're
What are
doing.
you talking about? We did that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, we did.
My junior year against
Yes,
Illinois.
I do remember that.
We threw the ball, I think,
One completion.
We had one
completion
to Stoney for a touchdown, I think.
Oh,
Other than
Jesus.
that, we ran the ball every play.
Braxton had one
God, I thought
completion
we had
for
some
one
bad
touchdown.
offensive
And we won. It was like
Fair.
40-degree weather wind. It was terrible. but
Well, it can be bad out there.
yeah.
well, most teams are able to do that when they're
Yeah,
playing Illinois,
that was
but
a
just
horrible
apparently not
football
Penn State. Anyway, that's too bad for them. We're going to take a break here. It is halftime at weekend kickoff. These guys are going to regroup. We're going to be back for a lot more conversation about Ohio State and Penn State Saturday night, 7:30.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Federal Elite Heating and Cooling. Find them at federalheating.com.
And now with some early bowl predictions, Bobby Carpenter.
Well, Austin, what I'm seeing here is 12 lucky Roosters guests are getting the opportunity to travel to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with 2 tickets, airfare, and hotel. One prize winner will be chosen each week. Guests need to register weekly at roosterswings.com.
That's great, Bobby. What I was asking was your prediction for the Buckeyes this bowl season.
I have no idea. I'm going to Roosters right now to register.
All right, taking a quick break here from Weekend Kickoff, and it is brought to you this week by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling. We got our friend Steve. We got a big weekend coming up. You can tell that the weather's starting to change. Probably a good time to call you guys.
Oh, yeah. Be proactive is, what we're trying to get across to our customers is, not to wait till the last minute to get things checked out. So we don't have that. You're not a part of the big rush. I have to wait a little longer than we like our customers to wait.
Are you all impacted at all by, it feels like everybody's saying, well, get your Christmas shopping done now. I mean, is that impacting you all on your end? How are you making sure that you take care of the customers there at Federal Elite?
We've been proactive in ordering equipment, getting things in stock, filling our warehouse, so we're ready for when the customers calls and have needs. There is a lot of shortages in, like furnaces, for example, or very small supplies compared to what we normally have. Especially started the heating season, which is unusual. It's not a good sign. No, we're in good shape right now, and our supplier, Habager Corporation, is doing a great job keeping us supplied. So, but there is a lot of shortages out there.
I understand, though, that not on the labor end, that everybody's still rolling along there.
Yep. We have a great team involved. We really don't have a labor shortage at our company. We've always taken good care of our people, and they continue to stay with us. So we're always hiring.
That's a good sign. What does anybody need to be aware of at Federal Elite right now? I mean, got some good deals, anything going on right now that people need to come check you out with?
Oh, yeah. We have 0% interest for 72 months, and that's a big savings.
Absolutely.
When you get 0% financing, that helps a lot. And we also have other different programs for people that don't want to participate in that kind of a plan, low interest. Mm-hmm. So that helps.
All right.
Get things perfect.
We've got to check that out. And then Saturday night at 7:30, there's a pretty big game. What are we expecting?
Oh, I'm saying Ohio State's going to kick them pretty good. I'm going for a
24-point win?
Yep.
All right, well, that'll cover. That would cash. And then they can take that and get a little savings as well at Federal Elite. We appreciate Steve and everybody there coming to hang out with us tonight at Weekend Kickoff. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, back to the show. All right, welcome back to Weekend Kickoff. It is the second half. You know that there's only one way to start it, and that's the Buyer's Auto question for the quarterbacks.
Oh, love that.
Because there's 2 of them this week,
did not
so it's
know.
not just for Cardell. Well,
is this a thing we do every week?
Surprise.
All right.
Yeah, but whenever Cardell doesn't show up, then it.
Oh, come on.
Last week we had to
I feel
change
like
it.
they just had me here in case he didn't show up.
Last week it was the Buyer's
And then they
Auto.
were like, you got to come on because you're here.
Last week we had three linebackers, right? So Buyer's Auto question.
Yeah, you guys
for
are
the
heavy
fullback.
on the defense, huh?
So I can audible.
You guys are heavy on the D, huh?
I like it.
Oh, buddy.
All right, what we got?
Bobby's not even
go.
here. So
Bobby's not even here.
Cardell's picking up the slack for the innuendo on a Halloween night. All right. That throw to Jackson Smith and Jigba from DJ Stroud last week, graded on a scale of 1 to 10.
That's what dreams are made of.
You take it. You're
I mean, that's a 10 out of 10. That ball is just amazing. Now, granted, he got to sit in the pocket. He got to look at everything. The O-line did a great job. But, I mean, it was just...
Thank you.
That's got to be one of the best balls he's ever thrown,
Right.
in my opinion. And he's thrown a lot. Don't get me wrong. I know he's got a great arm and all that, but doing that in the rain, with the wind, on the road, at night, it was beautiful.
I agree. From what I've seen throws of CJ this season, I think that was his best ball. But on the scale of one of the best balls ever, I think we have to go back. I don't know.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that can make that throw over the years
but
of
like,
whatever.
Like great passes that was in tough situations.
2021 season, 2021 season,
2021 season
was his best.
That was his best ball.
Hands
I'm going
down.
10 out of 10. But if I'm comparing that to the Roethlisberger throw to Santonio Holmes,
Now, see, that's a better catch, in my opinion.
That's a dime, though.
Yeah.
There's no room for error.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it up there and see if Santonio can go get it and keep both of his feet in.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a
okay. Kind of a little bit off subject.
Yeah.
Did you see Kyler Murray pass to A.J. Green on 3rd and 24?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh my God.
He's sitting on my bench. I was geeked when I saw it.
Oh, but long story
got
short,
some
10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I definitely think so. In that situation, like in those conditions, you don't coach that. You can't coach that. You can't prepare somebody for that situation. You're either born with it or you don't. And he just happened to be one of the guys that can do it.
I'm sitting in the press box, and I saw 3 defenders in the general area of Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I thought, well, this can't end well.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a bad decision. And then he just
It's always a bad decision if it don't go your way.
well, yeah, but I, you know,
confidence breeds confidence,
Yeah, that
but
thing
once
would
it-
have got tipped or he would have got freaking knocked out. That was a horrible.
Yeah, it
pass.
wasn't even like he had to go up and make a play for the ball. It was
No,
just like these two
it
guys
was.
were running back here. This safety's coming from over here. My quarterback's going to put the ball right here in stride.
Perfect.
I got to put my hands up to catch it.
Well,
It's like he couldn't hand him that ball.
yeah, I guess that's what I mean.
He
Like,
could.
it looked like a normal.
Yeah,
college
once that ball
quarterback
goes in the air, you're like, oh, what's he doing?
Yeah,
is
right.
probably
And then you're
not
just
gonna
like,
get that ball.
I got worse handoffs from you.
Oh my God! Right, that's why he stays next to me.
But you know, he looked over. He looked, you know, the safety over a little bit. He got the
Yeah.
window that he wanted, and
he knew exactly where he needed to put that ball, and he delivered. Now, granted, I'm sure they did that a couple times in practice,
Right.
you
But I
know,
mean, like,
scouting, but to do it in the game in the weather,
Yes.
it's
I just
beautiful.
think his confidence is something really cool to watch because, like, I mean, even that though, we were talking about some of those back shoulders that he threw earlier. Like, in my mind, that is trust. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
those are good balls, yeah.
I mean, if the DB's looking or if your receiver isn't ready, you look kind of like an idiot, right? You know.
But
And-
it's no such thing as a back shoulder pass. Right.
Right.
You react to it.
Fair.
You don't drop back and say, let me throw a back shoulder because, like you said, the DB's looking at you. You better hit the red button on your shoes and boosters because he might take things out of the way.
Right.
So it's all a reaction. So it's
The
I
George
hate-
of the Jungle tongue.
But that's
dog.
that chemistry.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
you better get it going.
I know how you can judge my leverage and know that, like,
Exactly,
you know, I'm
exactly.
going to really push it, but my leverage isn't like it is, so you're going to put it back here. And I
Exactly.
know that you know that, and that's where the ball
Exactly.
is.
And then, you know, and I mean, Evan being a receiver and Justin being a quarterback, you know, you had those conversations sometimes like, this guy won't let me over top. As
Yeah,
a,
right.
You know, a receiver like DB is no way he let me over top. So, hey, we kind of got that like little thing. Okay, next time we go there, we might be expecting the back
Yep.
shoulder. But
Still got to run it, though.
exactly.
I thought it was
Gotcha.
phenomenal.
it was
Great
good.
pass.
What did you like about it?
I mean,
What
it
was the
was
best
great.
part?
The best part about it,
Was
I
the
was
completion?
in a city that I don't want to name. Initials AA.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was up there.
What's
Hey,
going on?
I was literally going to let you live.
Yeah,
but
I know. Hey,
Is it north of here?
It is north of here. Hey, at a bar. Hey, this
Jeez.
wasn't my decision.
What are you doing with
Hey,
your life?
Cardale.
At a bar.
Wow, putting
at a bar.
himself
Hey,
I thought this was
you
your
wanna
guy
know
over here, and he's hanging
I
out
thought
in,
it was.
in places called it.
Hey,
I
you wanna
thought
know
he
something?
was.
Hey, you don't let me finish my story.
Grant.
Okay.
I literally, it happened. I'm watching big screen. Stood up out of my chair, looked around. No one was cheering, and I think I texted Austin, "Wow."
I can confirm.
Yes, that's what I did. Wow.
Okay.
And I said, Zach, I need an update. How is that team up there that you're watching looking? And
Oh, wow. You were there to
don't
watch
think,
them.
don't think he was that impressed.
No, it was bad.
No.
We'll talk about that in a couple weeks.
bad ball.
Yeah.
Aren't they the
We'll get
most?
there.
Aren't they the most overrated team in the country at
Every
this
year?
point? Well, every year, but especially
Every
right now.
September, at least.
Between them and Notre Dame every year is the most overrated.
Oh,
Team.
I'll tell you.
In
what.
Miami, usually when Miami wins the first 3 or 4 games, they get pretty hype.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this.
They're back.
Hey,
Michigan's
the,
back.
the tailgating sucked. The game atmosphere sucked. The game sucked.
Don't worry,
The
we going up
coaching-
there and show 'em how to
Hey,
tailgate
the
here in a
coach-
few
you're
weeks.
Right. The coaching sucked. The co-eds were phenomenal.
Oh.
They were great. My Rachel and her friends. Rachel and her friends. They're
What a way to phrase it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
they're
was
great.
a
They were phenomenal. They
different
showed
way.
me, hey, they showed me around
More
town.
like my fiance's friends had a good time.
Is Rachel getting a link to this? Or are
No, the
we
co-
choosing
the
words
co-
carefully? Nice.
She's a co-ed.
It's private on you.
This is live. You know that, right? She can go on the web, the World Wide Web.
Did you see his phone buzzing over there?
I've always graded that
Co-eds.
school down in every category, so maybe there's just something hidden that by the end of November they don't show up anymore. Because I've always graded a bunch of other schools in the Big Ten higher. Not Rutgers, but
We know how much you love them.
it's pretty close.
Rucker.
I'm pretty surprised though that there have been several of these straw polls this week for the Heisman that don't have C.J. Stroud in the top 5 or top 6. Now the betting odds have recognized where this is heading.
Vegas knows.
He keeps climbing. I think he should be the favorite to win the Heisman at this point, especially the stats that he's put up, the team that he's on, the potential that he has for next month. Now he has to still do it 5 more times, 6 more times, but am I way off base here? I don't see how at this point he wouldn't win the Heisman if he keeps doing this and they don't lose.
Just to be blunt, kind of what you come to Ohio State and play quarterback to go do, right? I mean, obviously you're trying to win championships, you're trying to build some lasting friendships and build awesome teams, but like by doing all of that and by doing your job by proxy, you will be there, right? You will be considered, and then you start showing some athleticism, you
start doing this. Let me just 62 of 84, 1,002 yards, 74% completion percentage,
2 of 84.
Seems
14 TDs.
Seems good.
The last 3 games.
Wow.
Oh my God. So yes, you come to a place here to be put in that position, and then you go out after taking a week off to heal your shoulder, which still just blows my mind and it amazes me. And I love it, but it's still nuts to me.
Think about
and then you come back.
Going to break with one less game.
Yeah, and that was without the Indiana game in there, but you get the gist. I mean, he did well that night as well.
Sure.
So I mean, you're at 1,300 yards. However many TDs in 4 games.
I hope he gets there.
And 0 interceptions.
Here's my thing with the whole Heisman thing is C.J. Stroud. He doesn't need to worry about it. He doesn't need to let the media talk about it.
Let it happen.
He needs a marquee game, which is this weekend, a.k.a. this weekend. If he were to put up numbers again and they come out with a victory, guess what? His name's going to go to the top of the list. Because right now everyone's still talking about him as number 3 behind Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett. God forbid Kenny Pickett gets any kind of more hype. They lost to Western Michigan this year. He hasn't been putting up that great of numbers. And listen, Matt Corral, I think, is a great player. I think he's dynamic. I think if he was at Ohio State, we'd be all over him. But the facts are they had one big game this year against Alabama, and he didn't show up whatsoever and played so bad. Yeah. Right? The one loss Ohio State's had this year was the Oregon game where C.J. Stroud almost put up 500 yards. And was the only reason why they were in the game. As time goes on, C.J. Stroud's going to climb up there because right now, with him being in 3rd, and Zwick already talked about all of his stats, man, the dude's just going to keep on climbing those charts.
Well, I agree. But one thing I want him to do, because he's going to, all this Heisman buzz and the real stuff is going to come out here sooner or later, just get rid of your phone. Because earlier in the season, man, and watching some of his press conferences, personally, I was so disappointed in him sounding like he was replying back to tweets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he sounded like.
Gets in his feelings a little bit, right?
Like, oh, yeah, and everybody say I'm young. I'm just young, and I keep getting better. And
my shoulders hurt, and this and that.
And it was just like Jesus.
What?
Like, he was replying to every tweet he ever said. Right. Or someone said
that was the first time we had
him.
Heard his shoulder was really hurt when he came out. I was like, hey, I'm young, and I got a hurt shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Okay.
What?
Like,
hold on.
We're 3 games into the Nick was like, what? We're 3 games into the season.
Right.
We're finding this out.
Continue to give yourself excuses or get so lost in the media and the expectations and who is this and who is that and all this other crap and who's going to win this. Just continue to do what you've been doing the last 5 weeks.
But he's also like 19 years old, so you got to give him a break.
But he doesn't have to say he's young because we're here to point that out.
Fair,
for him, right? Like we can know that. And the guy's in his second.
Yeah, you got to know in that situation. As a quarterback, you'd agree probably you're usually a little buttoned up when you talk to the media, right?
Yes.
You don't usually throw that kind of stuff out.
He needs
or
to sign
working your way.
So that's why it caught me off guard. Like, oh, you're throwing this out there?
You just walk to the side. These guys all know it, and you say, "Hey, Austin."
Yeah.
Do you remember that this is my second career start? I say, "Yeah, bud, I do know that."
Yeah, we're champion for you. We got you. We know.
What else do I?
the narrative for you?
But
No, he needs to sign with Cardell's NIL.
That must be that.
Yeah, we coach him up a little bit on what not to say to the media.
Mentoring.
Well,
Hence, we ain't come here to play school.
You need somebody to teach you how to use Twitter. You go see Cardell Jones. That's his own business. On
Or
the side
understand the power of it. Sure. One of the two.
Nobody knows that better
Both
than
the
him.
same message.
All right, two nights, 48 hours from now, Ohio State will be kicking off against Penn State.
And the red pants.
I believe Zach has our up-to-date spread.
Right.
All red. Yeah.
18.5.
18.5. Oh, that's gone up throughout.
Substantially. I mean, that's a touchdown almost. It went up, right?
Yeah. So it's the Coors Light
18
Silver
and a
Bullet
half.
pick. 18.5. Zach says. You can also get some new Vizzy seltzers from Coors Light. All delicious. The mountains are blue.
Where's Mangold at?
Hey, don't worry about that. You guys can bring him. I don't know.
We need to get him down here to.
That was before my time. All right, Cardell, what do you got for a score prediction? What's going to be the key?
A little shellacking. 42-10.
42-10.
42-10. I don't think these guys, like I said before earlier on the show, I don't think these guys are playing hard for this coach anymore. And even though we know you go out there and play for your guys and the guys you're going through those winter workouts and the off-season training would, but, when your success on the field also determine the coach's success in his career and his other opportunities. You know, if that added aspect is not there as a player, it's like whatever. You know, I'm just going through the motions type of deal. And then the way the college football playoff things are structured, it clearly every big team, every Power 5 conference team is, you know, they know what's at stake. You try to win out or, you know, don't have more than one loss, so you have opportunities to make your bid for the playoffs. You're out of here. You're done. Your barbecue sauce. Get ready for next season.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. You're done.
Love it.
You're done.
All right.
42-10.
That's one thing I've actually never said about James Franklin.
He's barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue.
We're going to have to start using that one. I'm going to start using it.
I'm going to
when things
from
are
now
done.
on.
That's barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Sauce on
One
that.
day at
I love it.
One day at Roosters for Lettermen Live.
Yeah, right. That's barbecue
Got
sauce.
some honey gold.
So this week, as a player in that locker room over at the Woody Hayes, I know when we played, you itch for these kind of games, right? You itch for that perennial Big Ten power coming into the Horseshoe at night, big game. You know, you just feel the hype in the air. Even though Penn State lost last week, everything that's been going on this week, and I guarantee you Ryan Day's reminding them of everything that's transpired over the past couple of years with this James Franklin program. I guarantee you Ryan Day's talking about the press conference that James Franklin just had calling him Illinois. This Ohio State team hasn't had to, quote-unquote, get up for a game recently. Basically, Oregon was the last time, and they didn't even get up for that game, right? This is the first time all year this Ohio State team's going to come into a game hungry. And I think, man, Penn State does not have a chance. Their offense is reeling. Last week, or going into last week's game, Ohio State was averaging 48.5 points on offense. They scored 54 last week. You know what that means, Cardell?
Average went up.
Yeah, average went up, right? So guess what? I am going Ohio State 52, Penn State 13.
Man, almost took my score. Almost took my score. I promise I was 52 as well.
You're winning over some fans right here.
Hey, hold on. It goes back to the spread. Hammer it.
Hammer it. I'm not going to say that it was a great time to be in Indiana last week when that number was out, but it might have been for some people that were there. I don't know.
That's funny. No, 52-20 is mine. I mean, for me, I'm going to give their offense some weird a touchdown or two or some kind of production.
Something will happen.
Just from the standpoint of knowing that, like, we always get the best out of not only Penn State, just all of these bigger name teams that we play like this, right? So, you know, I expect everything to come out of the offensive playbook. I expect something that we're not seeing that they'll get a cheap touchdown on, right? So, you know, I don't think anything's stopping our offense at all. 52 is a phenomenal number. You know, maybe I'm not going to put a safety in there to give you a different number because that's not going to happen. But 52-20 is what I got. You know, I think James Franklin's going to try in everything that he can from a schematic standpoint because he knows what's got to be on his national resume as well. But he's going to fall short. 20 points is all I got for their offense, and go Bucks.
Well, it seems like you guys all forgot that their secondary only gave up 38 passing yards last week.
Well, this is true.
Wow.
So
We're
on
buying this
one
short.
passing attempt.
I guess numbers do lie.
with that being said,
Numbers definitely lie.
I'm going 48-10. And CJ's going to have over 300 yards passing.
I'll take that.
Shellac.
All day long.
Shellac.
I'm just saying.
That's a
We got a little shellac.
I think it's going to be I was looking at the weather. There's a chance of rain. You know, you always worry about bad weather coming in, making a play on something like this. But they had it last week. It wasn't terrible, I don't think. You were there. It was just kind of a mist.
Burn might disagree.
Well, you were dry, yes. Berm was down the field getting rained on.
Yes.
Listen.
It was more like a
the weather report is actually rain showers are supposed to stop around 6 o'clock.
Is it around 6
Games
o'clock?
at
Okay.
7:30, so if my math is correct, it should be pretty dry.
Well,
Penn State,
in that
listen,
case,
if
yes.
Penn
If we have
State-
good weather, forget. I mean,
They gave up almost 400 yards rushing on a nice day
to Illinois.
to Illinois,
I
who
think it's
still threw
important
the
at
ball 24 times, but only 38 yards.
that number to me is still
you know,
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm feel really comfortable and confident Ohio State running the ball down their throat on a bad day.
Yeah.
So, go Bucks.
Zach, I'm trying to remember.
Barbecue sauce.
I don't think Illinois has Travion Henderson. Is that right?
No, they do
Or
not.
Maya Williams.
They don't have
I
Michael Williams.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
No, they do not.
Do they have Nicholas Petit Frere, Thayer Munford, Luke Whippler.
No, but they got 9 other
they
ones.
do have
They will
9
line
that
up.
they
They
put
will
in
line
at the
them
same
all
time,
up.
which is incredible.
I just want to check. The personnel seems a little bit
I
different.
think the guy who
I think
handed
they
off the
played
ball was
every-
a lineman, too.
I'm ready for-
I hope
waiting for
Ryan
the,
puts that in with just all of our offensive linemen that we have.
Let's go.
And so
Remember
we're
that?
gonna put-
Right, remember that?
We're going to put 9 offensive linemen out here.
We go for
Honestly,
like
A
to your
quarterback and a running back.
We go for 2
Austin,
on 1.
to your point,
Two-point
no,
conversion.
I think Illinois practices with the first and second team O-line on one line.
Got it. Okay, so Ohio State has better personnel. They're more motivated. They're at home. It's a scarlet out. They don't like James Franklin, who's barbecue sauce. Ohio State 63, Penn State 7.
We're going to pour it on them.
Love
It's
those.
gonna be ugly, folks.
I love those.
This is a game that Ryan can use as kind of like the, hey, they've said you haven't played anybody yet. This is the big game, even though they lost last week.
I will also say something now that we've all given our scores. I firmly believe it's like Cardell said, a shellacking, right?
Shellacking.
This, if it's as bad as we all think it can be up here and probably will be, James Franklin is not going to get that USC
No
job.
way. There's no way.
He is not. And I think
I'm thinking
James
he's getting-
Franklin, a part of him,
Might not get the Penn State job next year either.
I think he's getting-
there might be a part of him that's thinking he has to perform in this game because it's for, like Evan hit on it, it's for the national coaching landscape. Because if that happens, I think Cristobal goes to USC. Heck, James Franklin, he may end up if he gets beat down in Miami. Good luck, buddy.
and getting shellacked every week. Every week go down there.
Barbecue.
Well, it's going to be fun either way. There's a lot to prove. It's if Penn State gets bloody, it won't show up on Ohio State's uniform, so that'll be fine too. That'll work out. It's going to be a great weekend. Appreciate Coors Light, Byers Auto, Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems, everybody, Urban Meyer's Pint House for having us out for weekend kickoff. That's Cardale Jones, Zach Bourne, Justin Zwick, and Evan Spencer.
Oh yeah,
Jesus!
I just want to build it up because it's nice to have you back out here. I am
Glad to be back.
Austin Ward. This has been Weekend Kickoff. Enjoy the game this weekend. We will see you back here next Thursday night.